Welcome to the JAMODI podcast, where we interview coaches and leaders to find out not just what they do, but how they do what they do. Becoming the best version of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
If you follow me on social, you see this reference of the green team. Without getting into all the details at high level, this is essentially what it means, Matt. We believe all teams, all rosters are broken into three parts. We've got the greens, and that's where we start. See, green represents money. But in today's vernacular vocabulary of young people, money is a synonym for special. You'll hear things like, oh, my game is money. Oh, yeah. Matt, your shoes are money. Oh, my shot is so money. Money means special. So for us, green means money, but it ultimately represents special. And I believe all teams have in common a desire to build something special. Well, the only way we can do it, the way we communicate it, is that we need to be green and build green. That is this money area that we talk about, that we spend time with the players and we actually build out with the players what it looks like it means to be green, to be money. But the reality is not all of us show up money each and every day. You know, sometimes we show up less than our best. Unfortunately, sometimes we even give our worst to our teammates who we care about the most. Those individuals in those moments are what we define as red. So we've got the greens, but we've also got the reds. If you think about in business, Matt, they say when your business is in the red, it essentially means you're what? You know, Matt,
Negative, yeah.
Negative, yeah. Unhealthy, struggling, challenged. And if we're being honest, we've got players in our teams, in our programs that if we look at it, they create some challenges. They cause some headaches. They cause some friction, some, unaccommodating situations, whether it's them complaining or having bits of selfishness or draining some energy out of the group. We have reds on our team as well. But we also, and the majority of our team lands in what we call the middle section is the gray area. So we've got the greens, the grays, and the reds. I'll tell you a little bit about gray. Gray, if it was on a temperature scale, would be lukewarm. It's not hot, it is not cold. Grays like the team, but don't love the team. Grays care, but are not all in. Grays work hard, but are never the hardest workers. Grays do just enough. They show up, they do their job, but they frustrate us to some degree because there's another level inside of them that they haven't unleashed with us. They have moments where they're green, but they aren't consistent enough with it. Therefore, they fall into the gray. Grays can win games. Grays can even upset an opponent on occasion. Grays can have a good game on occasion, but they can't reach their full potential. So when we teach this concept of the green team, we put it into action, Matt, that it is the player's responsibility at this point that we want to do everything we can to remove the red, sway the gray, and build the green. Because we used to be special, and we always tell everybody, everything you desire from this team will come to fruition when we live in the green. Everything. You want to be more competitive? It'll happen when we're in the green. You want to win more? It'll happen when we're in the green. You want to enjoy the process more? It'll happen in the green. You want to have better relationships with your teammates and coaches? It'll happen in the green. Everything you want, no matter where your mindset on the team is, will come to fruition in the green, but we've got to build it. We teach 7 principles on how to build the green team. I won't go into that today, but one thing that's really nice is we also sit with the players when we do this, and we go through this evaluation of the team to identify what percentage of our roster currently is green, what percentage is gray, and what percentage is red. And we break it down, and we have these percentages. Let's say 20% green and 75% gray and 5% red. Okay.
How do you have them figure that out?
Yeah, so it breaks down on the 7 dynamics that we talk about of what it takes to build a green team. That kind of helps the psychology and the foundation of it. So for example, like one of the rules of the 7 is if you are a floater, you are the lower of the 2 levels you float between. What I mean by that is if you are sometimes green, sometimes gray, I think we're all honest, right? You know, some days you've got these days where you show up special, your spirit special, your energy special, you're green. But then other days you just kind of show up, you just kind of go through the motions, you're just kind of right in the middle there, you're gray, okay? You're not hurting us, but you're also not helping per se, driving us forward. Well, if you are a floater, you're the lower of the two levels you float between. So in that case, if you're both back and forth there, you are gray according to this scale.
Okay.
Now, we even have some people that are green to red floaters. Think about those players that you never know what you're going to get. Like there's a little bit of bipolar feel involved, right?
After practice, you go, man, he was great today. But it's that almost astonishment or, yeah, we didn't expect that.
Yeah, like you say with your fellow team coaches, where has that been this whole time, right? You know,
right.
So there's this, so you're the flower of the two levels you float between. So when we go through the dynamics, everyone has a very clear understanding of what it means to be green, what it means to be gray, what it means to be red. We'll get players sometimes say, Coach, are you telling me in order to be green on this scale, I've got to be green like all the time? All those things. And then once again, we define it and build it out with the players of what exactly traits associated with it for this particular group. And I tell them, I say, no, you don't have to be all those traits all the time, but you also don't have to be special. And I know that sounds harsh, but if you desire to be special, then yes, you need to work to be that all the time, or at least in our perspective, 90% or greater. And I usually break it down and illustrate it like this. Let's say you showed up green 3 out of the 5 days we're together this week. Monday through Friday as a team, we're together. You show up green, really special as a teammate. 3 out of 5. I love asking the players, I know it's not a math exercise, but what is the percentage of 3 out of 5? And Matt, I'll ask you that question as well. 3 out of 5 is what percent?
Yeah, it's 60, 66.
60, yes.
Okay, like Ali, I panicked for just a second, which I would have guessed players do too. Anyway.
Yeah, I was like, all right, we're about to enter an awkward moment in the podcast if Matt doesn't get this one right. But yes, your 60% is right. And I remind the players, I'm like, what does 60% get you in school? Like, at least in the Maryland, you're like a D or a D minus. Like, it is not good. So if we think we can show up 3 out of the 5 days special and think that's effective or high level or special, you're wrong. But here's where I also remind them a piece of encouragement. If they are showing up 3 out of 5 days, let's say, green, they know how to be green.
Yeah.
Because they do it some days. We've just got to work on how to be more consistent, how to repeat the good days, how to overcome the obstacles and the challenges that derail us, that cause us to have these red moments. So going back to where I was saying, we have these percentages and the players know, man, they know who's gray, they know who's red, because we frame it in a way that they get it, okay? And we break down the percentages and whatever they happen to be, we essentially say, we don't care what these percentages are today because we're beginning this process. We're in the process of building. So I'm not concerned about where they are today, but I am concerned about where they're going. And every month we're going to come back and do a green check. Okay. We're going to check our numbers. We're going to see the progress we're making. The one reason part of the reason I love this exercise is it gives a quantitative measurement to growing the culture within the program that most people lack. And young people don't understand it. When we say we need to build a special team or we want to build a healthy culture, I don't think most players can visualize and contextualize what that actually means, and even more, how to measure the progress.
Yeah.
If you say, Matt, we need to become better on the offensive glass, rebounding, we got that. We know what that looks like. We know how to track the growth of that. We can see the progress. But when we say we need to build a healthy culture, we want to build a special team environment, it's like, okay, am I there yet? What does that look like? I don't know. With the green team, we quantify it. So we can come and say in the beginning, okay, we're 20% green, 65% gray, 5% red to start out, okay? And I may have done the math wrong. 20, 65, that's 85. 15%.
Now we've both had the moment, so no problem.
So, but let's say we come back a month from now and that 20% green is now 40% green. We still got some grays. We still have a little bit of reds. Let's say red moved from 15% down to 5. Gray kind of hovered around the same, okay?
Yep.
We've got a great story to tell now. There's some reasons for optimism. we can celebrate our win as a culture, because we can say, listen, I want y'all to realize what just happened. Over the last 30 days, we doubled our green. We doubled the amount of people that are all in, giving their all day in and day out. And we reduced by 2/3 the number of reds. We started at 15%. We're only at 5 now. We are moving in the right direction. And guys, doesn't it feel better? Can't y'all feel it? Because we feel green. You know those teams, those special environments. These are the ones you look back on years later, you say, that team in 2019, 2020 was so special, right? We know what it looks and feels like. So that is one exercise that we find extremely important.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.